Treasury shall be unveiling RBA's 6th strategic plan and the National Retirement Benefits Policy on Thursday, August 29, 2024 at the Kenyatta International Conference Center between 9 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Imagine a future where your golden years are truly golden, marked by dignity, financial security, and peace of mind. We are simplifying the rules, extending our reach, and embracing innovation to craft a retirement system that's as resilient as it is inclusive. This is a promise that no one will be left behind, and that the future is brighter when we build it together. Let's make your future not just secure, but extraordinary. The launch, which will coincide with a 2-day pension sector convention, shall be live on KBC TV and shall be streamed live on RBA's social media channels. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Ni aje mam, umeupdate token meter yetu?
Ai, kuupdate token meter yetu? Hiyo ni nini?
Acha nikuchanue mam, leta simu yako. So, kuna hii text tulipata from Kenya Power. Kwa hiyo text, kuna code 2. Weka code ya kwanza kureset token meter. Alafu weka code ya pili kuupdate token meter.
Haya, ni hivyo tu. Wacha niulize wa mama wangu wa chama kama wameupdate token meter zao, wajipange. Update token meter.
IEBC to hire auctioneers to go after politicians. We will be telling you why shortly. Plus, President William Ruto defends the new university funding model. Welcome to Prime Edition, coming to you live from Broadcasting House here in Nairobi, Kenya. It is 9 p.m. East African time. Good evening. My name is Mboya. Top in this live broadcast.
The Minister responsible for National Youth Service, who is here with me, should, in consultation with the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Interior, further the initiative to make sure that the paramilitary training that these young men and women go through will include a basic course in firearms.
Giving guns to the National Youth Service, President Ruto directs inclusion of firearm training in NYS paramilitary training.
9 of them are administrative. The main demand that was there relating to the payment of their salaries that is under the CBA has been done, and the resources have been released. So what we've advised them that these administrative decisions, administrative issues, they need to sit down with TSC as their teaching is going.
The start of secondary school's third term disrupted as the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers strike begins. Tightening the belt, counties urged to adjust their budgets to accommodate the 20 billion shillings slashed from shareable revenue. Thank you for joining us, our sign language interpreter, Anne Wangeshi. Our socials at KBC Channel 1. What are your thoughts on the stories that we're covering for you tonight? Speak to us on those social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Straight to our lead story now. President William Ruto has directed that a basic course in handling firearms be included in the paramilitary training of the National Youth Service. This, he said, will prepare the service men and women to protect the country when the need arises. He was speaking at the 88th NYS Pass-Out Parade here in Gilgil. Tipolvi Kipnusu opens our coverage with that Pass-Out Parade.
The 88th Pass-Out Parade of Kenya National Youth Service at their college in Gilgil, Nakuru County saw 14,602 recruits join the service. The chief guest, President William Ruto, noting that their paramilitary training alone, without basic training in handling firearms, limits their utilization in protecting the country under certain circumstances.
The minister responsible for National Youth Service, who is here with me, should, in consultation with the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Interior, further the initiative to make sure that the paramilitary training that these young men and women go through will include a basic course in firearms to make sure that they stand ready to protect the country when the need arises.
He further revealed plans to recruit 20,000 servicemen and women in the next phase that will be cascaded to villages to enhance inclusivity.
I am very happy that this is 15,000 short of a few numbers. As I instructed, our intention is that by next year, we will recruit 20,000 at a go.
The government will also revamp equipment at the college.
We will also be expanding the facilities in the National Youth Service. I have already instructed the Ministry of Housing to provide additional hostels to house 3,000 extra recruits at the National Youth Service, and to also develop housing for staff at the National Youth Service as they do for all the other services.
He revisited his clarion call of planting 1 billion trees by the year 2032, urging the service to chip in.
This turnaround extends further and covers a robust contribution to environmental conservation through the Greening Kenya initiative, which has added significant momentum to the goal of NYS planting 1 billion trees by 2032.
The celebration, which also marked 60 years since the unit was established.
NYS training has remained a strategic program for empowering the youth to gain skills for meaningful employment and nation building.
10,083 of the recruits were men and 4,519 were women, while 32 were people with disabilities. Timothy Kipnosu for Prime Edition.
At least 14,692 recruits graduated from the college, with President Ruto directing security agencies to give those graduates priority when hiring. Now, on to education matters now. Learning in several schools across the country was disrupted as the strike called by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, began. Whereas their rival union, the Kenya National Union of Teachers, withdrew from the strike, KUPPET maintained that the government had not fulfilled their demands. Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba, however, implored the teachers to resume duty as the Teachers Service Commission addressed their grievances. Frederick Parsayo puts that story in perspective.
This deafening silence at Bomo School in Mombasa, with no activities save for a few learners turning up for the first day of the third term, depict the toll on learning by the KUPPET strike that began today. It is a cause for worry to the school's board of management.
Mtoto akiwa nyumbani kusoma ni ngumu. Unaona? Hawezi. Afadhali angekuja skuli, hata angekuja wote shule. Wale walimu wako hapa wa BOM, labda wangefanya some revision na wao.
In Baringo, teachers took to the streets demanding that the Teacher Service Commission honors their collective bargaining agreement.
We want the full implementation of the CBA. Yes. Yes. We want the all intern teachers. And the most unfortunate part is our CS is saying there is no money. MPs say that we are placed in the budget. Yes. Who is fooling who?
So was the situation in Kakamega County as secondary school tutors outlined their demands.
The government has refused to give teachers what is rightfully theirs. We have come to demand that the government must be able to respect a CBA that is actually law on its own.
In Embu County, the area Kupet Executive Secretary Jacob Karura warned teachers against betraying the strike.
Serikali tumejaribu waangalie matakwa yetu, lakini walitimiza jambo moja peke yake.
The TSC was accused of blackmail by the Kericho Kupet branch secretary.
TSC did not even want to go through the list of our demands. And now that is why we voted in the National Governing Council 100% to go for industrial action.
Solidarity forever.
In Machakos County, more than 4,000 teachers downed their tools to demand for better working conditions. Learning was also paralyzed in secondary schools in Mboya County as teachers obeyed the Kupet strike call.
But because our sister union has bowed out of the fight, Kupet remains to continue with the fight.
The Ministry of Education, however, called upon teachers to call off the strike, saying the remaining demands are administrative and ought not to disturb learning.
9 of them are administrative. The main demand that was there relating to the payment of their salaries that is under the CBA has been done, and the resources have been released. So what we've advised them that these administrative decisions, administrative issues, they need to sit down with TSC as the teaching is going on for them to be resolved.
Ogamba made the remarks in Nairobi during a tour to Lenana Primary School to check on the opening of the third term. Parsai Frederick, Prime Edition.
Now, county governments are tonight being urged to adjust their budgets accordingly following the reduction in shareable revenue by 20.1 billion shillings from 400.1 billion shillings to 380 billion shillings. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who chaired the opening of the 24th ordinary session of the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council in Nairobi, Kenya, said that the long-standing issue of pending bills that has been a major concern for both national as well as county administrations has been addressed, stating that the government's commitment to addressing the issue over the backlog of unpaid bills in future must be dealt with.
According to the Deputy President, the National Treasury has made notable progress in reducing the pending bills from 622.82 billion shillings as of June 2023 to 516.27 billion shillings by June 2024. This reduction, though not as substantial, pointing out to the magnitude of the financial obligations still facing the government.
During the extraordinary session, we made significant progress regarding implementation of the integrated county revenue management systems. It was resolved that counties will continue to maintain and operate their existing revenue systems while the National Steering Committee finalizes development of the new system and corresponding regulations.
The Deputy President also noted that despite these financial constraints, the National Treasury managed to transfer 354.5 billion shillings to counties by the end of the last financial year, equivalent to 92% of the total equitable share due to them. The outstanding amount of 30.83 billion shillings, which was delayed due to revenue shortfalls, was released in July 2024. The Council of Governors, however, said the 20.1 billion shillings reduction in shareable revenue from 400.1 billion shillings to 380 billion shillings would complicate the fiscal landscape for counties.
Further to our resolutions, we have successfully transferred movable assets, including registers and valuation reports, to the 47 county governments. The IGRTC, in collaboration with NTSA, is facilitating the change of ownership of these assets. Additionally, the State Department of Devolution, in collaboration with IGTRC and other relevant MDs has made significant progress in valuation of fixed assets.
The money relating to the June disbursement of 30.8 billion Kenya shillings was finally disbursed, although most of the accounts haven't accessed because of various challenges relating to the approvals by the control of budget, which one of the resolution has been that we need to have a meeting with the control of budget, a committee that will address the issues of approval so that we automate that process. With regard to the disbursement of the allocated amount for this financial year, we are in arrears for the month of June, or rather July and August. And because of the lack of the CARA, that is the County Allocation of Revenue Act 2024, which has not yet been approved by Senate, the Act mandates the National Treasury under the Division of Revenue Allocation Act to release up to 50%.
The meeting also discussed the need for counties to harmonize the SAST rates to reduce the cost of doing business for farmers, the implementation of the Integrated County Revenue Management System, and ongoing agricultural sector reforms to boost productivity and protect farmers from exploitation by middlemen.
It's not only hard times for counties, but also for some politicians. And here's the reason why. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, is in the process of hiring auctioneers to go after politicians, litigants, and other firms for failing to pay the commission what they owe, and informing of outstanding court awards amounting to 400 million shillings. Appearing before the Public Accounts Committee, IEBC Chief Executive Officer Hussein Marjan says persons who lost their cases in election disputes against the commission and were directed by the courts to bear their own costs have gone as far as hiring lawyers to evade paying monies owed to the electoral body. Abdiaziz Hashim spent a bit of time on that story and filed the following report.
Marjan do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee on the matters under this consideration.
We are coming for you. These are the words of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, to those who have failed to pay the commission what they owe it in the form of outstanding court awards amounting to over 400 million shillings.
We wish to confirm that the Commission has initiated the process of procuring the services of licensed auctioneers as advised by the Office of the Attorney General.
Appearing before the National Assembly's Public Accounts Committee, IEBC CEO Hussein Marjan, who failed to mention the names and the number of the individuals who owe the poll agency, said that they have since recovered 6 million shillings so far.
Some petitions were filed by diligent litigants acting as surrogates for politicians out to cushion themselves against award of costs. Recovery of costs thus becomes a challenging endeavor.
The committee members wondered why the commission opted for the auctioneers as opposed to going back to court and suing the individuals for non-compliance.
The much that we can do with the courts is to, even if we go back to the courts, the much they'll give us is probably warrants of arrest. And just like the CEO has mentioned, it has been a challenge to even get some of these individuals who filed the disputes.
This requires tracing by way of investigation, which requires additional funding, thereby making the process costly.
Marjan revealed that the exercise of hiring the auctioneers will be concluded next week, and the auctioneers will be paid based on the amounts they recover, which is currently set at 1.5%.
You have hired auctioneers to pursue these court awards. How much have you paid the auctioneers so far?
So we'll not just pay them in advance. It's just the effort that they've put in place. What they have collected is now what we'll now pay them a percent. Usually it's very small. I think 1 to 1.5%.
The courts capped the amounts, so it's not necessarily the amount that will be due. So it is likely to go down once it is taxed by the courts.
Marjan further said the body is unable to meet the timelines of key exercises expected to be conducted since there are no commissioners in place.
1 year later, I cannot be able to gazette an MP who has died in March 2023. It is a simple work of just gazetting a returning officer to do it and to publish the results. because the law has to be followed, the rule has to be followed.
During the examination of the report of the Auditor General for the year ended 30th of June 2022, saw the IEBC on the spot for manually dispersing funds to their various offices at the devolved units, as opposed to using the required IFMIS system. Abdiaziz Hashim from Parliament Buildings, Prime Edition.
Now, President William Ruto has defended the new university funding model, assuring Kenyans that it aims at addressing inequalities in the country's education sector. Addressing a town hall meeting with students and other education stakeholders at KICC, the president said the means testing instruments being used to determine the banding of students ensures that the most vulnerable in society are not disadvantaged. The head of state further noted that the Education Ministry will increase funding for scholarships and loans for extremely needy students from 80 to 95%.
Since its inception on May 3rd to replace the unit cost DUC previously used to finance universities, the new university funding model has continued to draw sharp criticism from various stakeholders, with a section of students terming it discriminative.
What was so wrong with the old funding model that we could not sit down and amend it? So I feel we should go back to the old funding model.
Why the rush in implementing a model that has a lot of technicalities? Why the rush?
On Sunday evening, President William Ruto hosted a special convocation at the Kenyatta International Conference Center to debunk the myths surrounding the model.
The old model was almost destroying our education. Because, number one, it assumed that all the courses were the same.
The president noted that the government retired the old higher education funding model due to its inadequacies, which had driven more than half of the 40 universities in the country in dire financial crisis.
Scott Theological College, a university, closed down because of the old model. Many universities here, when I came into office, because of the old model, 23 out of 40 public universities were bankrupt.
The head of state further revealed that the banding in the new funding model existed way before, and that one band was added to the 4 that were existing before to make them 5, to ensure no student is left behind in the quest to get higher education.
We cannot continue as a nation to have an education system that shuts out millions of the children of the poor.
He reassured the country that at least 134,000 students applied for funding, with 26,000 appeals received so far for being wrongly banded.
I see many people, there's this problem. The students are being placed in the wrong band. This model is not good. But I have tremendous respect for the people who have ideas on how to solve the problem.
Joseph Wahungu for Prime Edition.
Well, that story brings us to our first break here on Prime Edition. Murang'a County government on the spot over audit queries. It's 22 minutes past the hour. We'll be back shortly.
Siamini. Amini usiamini, holiday bonanza ni ya kila mtu na zawadi zitakufikia mahali popote. Dial *570#, chagua option 4 na zawadi kibao zinakungoja. Ikiwa kila wiki kuna 250,000 Kenyan shillings za kushindaniwa. Ni *570# pekee, option 4, tushinde.
Give me a heart attack. Why are you talking? You're confusing us.
Confusing you? How?
I thought I was out of place. Why don't you go back to your bossy mother and ask her for your forgiveness?
and pray very hard that she welcome you back, because clearly you are not meant for this class.
Come on, is this a joke?
Of course it is not a joke.
You haven't even written your name, eh? Can you go and wait for me in the office?
Mr. Tisha, I have been here for so long, so if you don't mind, I have a pressing matter I need to handle.
How about I give you all a pressing issue?
Welcome back, our socials at KBC Channel 1. Betty Kiptum is on standby with the day's business, and a little later on, Karen Kibet will be bringing us the day's sports. The county government of Murang'a has been put on the spot over audit queries in water supplying companies in the county and subsequent loss of public funds amounting to millions of shillings used to fund their operations. Senators questioned why the county has continued to fund the operations of the loss-making entities. Murang'a Governor Irungu Kangata, however, defended their continued existence, attributing it to the need to commercialize the scarce resource.
While appearing before the Senate County Public Investments Committee, Governor Irungu Kangata was at pains to explain the continued use of public resources to fund two water companies in question in the county of Murang'a, after the Auditor General report flagged unbalanced budgets, contrary to the Public Finance Management County Government's regulations of 2015.
You must have anticipated market for you to be able to come up with 7.4. Then why not even 300,000 budget? Why 7.4? Uliamuka tu ukaamua budget yetu ni 7.4. There must have been calculations, there must have been financials.
The objective was to raise some revenue, to make some profit that would of course bail out now the mother company, that is Murang'a Water. If it has continually made losses, then what is the rationale of continuing operations of this particular company?
Senators also questioned the rationale behind having two companies, mainly Murang'a Water and Sewerage Company and Fort Beverages Industries Company Limited, in operation, despite making losses year in, year out.
I think the concern of this committee, Madam Chair, has been the losses made by this company over the years. But then it is a submission of the governor that given time, the company will be able to recap their losses so made.
By the time you gain consumer confidence, you need to have taken a little bit of time. Also expend a lot of money in marketing. Chair, from where I sit and I seek your indulgence, 1-2 year loss making of a business probably can be considered as money expended when one is entering into a market.
In its defense, the county told the committee that the continued existence of the companies was informed by the need to commercialize water, requesting for time to review the situation.
I'm trying to convince the honorable senators that the logic is there for this water company, this company to exist. Only that we needed to give it a little bit of time, and I think we are now on a positive trajectory in terms of revenue.
The finance manager don't say water companies always have unbalanced budget, because that is a very bad practice. Yeah, if financially, according to the law, you need to ensure that you have a budget that is balancing.
From the audit queries in Murang'a, let's take you to the corridors of justice, where the government of Kenya has been sued for allegedly exempting a manufacturer 188.9 billion shillings, thus denying the country revenue. Lawyer Apollo Mboya, the petitioner, told the court that the state had committed an unfair tax administrative action, causing the country to lose billions of shillings that would have been remitted as tax to aid in the country's development. Nairobi High Court is set to deliver a ruling on the matter on the 9th of October. Details in the Scales of Justice segment.
Justice Bahati Mwamuye will deliver a ruling in October after he directed parties to finish their paperwork by 20 September. In the case, lawyer Mboya wants the court to declare an agreement to exempt tax worth 188.9 billion shillings between the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Trade and Blue Nile Rolling Mills Limited was illegal and unjustifiable. The move, according to the petitioners, also created an uneven playing ground for steel industries in Kenya. Mboya told the court that Blue Nile Rolling Mills Limited commitment of quickly building up their factory and creating 300 direct jobs were false. The court was further told that the country lost a whopping 188.9 billion shillings in the illegal agreement, urging the court to rectify the mess, where the issue of public participation was also not factored. In the agreement, which was signed in March 2022, the court was told that the company has been exempted until 2032, when the allotted license will end. Elsewhere, Milimani's Magistrate Court has consolidated 3 gold fraud cases where 3 men had been charged.
Issues of terms of bail or bond were canvassed before the pre-court. The question whether he can abscond was never raised.
The trio who are out on a bond of 300,000 shillings are accused of conspiring to steal by pretending they were in a position to facilitate the inspection of 200 kgs of gold bars, which had been detained at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Trial Magistrate Wandi Anyamu directed the case be mentioned on 2nd September.
I find that it is not just a mere apprehension, as he could easily leave for his mother country and never return. The passport for Frank David Kateti is hereby to be held by the court. If he needs to travel, permission will be granted once conditions are set.
Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
Now, more than half a century ago, children born with intellectual challenges were regarded as a tragedy, and in some instances a bad omen, with some stigmatized parents sending such children to mental asylum. And it was only in 1964, just 1 year after Kenya gained her independence, that the Education Commission recommended the establishment of special schools to promote inclusivity in the country's education. How's the situation like decades later? Our reporter Ann Mwendwa visited a 45-year-old special school for the intellectually challenged learners, and she filed this report.
A 30-minute journey from Nairobi Central Business Districts leads us to Treeside Special School in Kasarani, home to 200 intellectually challenged learners. The facility sits on 12.5-acre piece of land donated by the government of Kenya in 1982 to 2 European women who founded the institution. Parents of such children were hesitant to bring them out, hence setting up the school provided a lasting solution. At the beginning, the learner population was very low.
If we go to the dormitories, you'll see the dormitories were constructed for a small population. But due to sensitization, slowly by slowly, the population has grown.
According to the head teacher, many parents have a negative opinion about the intellectually challenged children and only take them to school as a way of getting rid of them.
Immediately a parent gets a vacancy in the school, you have eliminated somebody who was tying you from doing your regular duties. So go to the boarding so that I can go and work to support the family.
But others like Sabina Mudhoni have embraced their intellectually challenged children.
Wakati nilimpeleka huko nikaona kusoma na shindo na kusoma na chapachapo na watoto wengine, na shinda nikiitwa kwa shule naambiwa huu mtoto wangu ashiki kusoma. Akiandikiwa numbers kama 1 to 10, yanaanza kutoka 10 anarudi nyuma.
She says the school has helped the child develop an area of interest despite her inability to read and write.
Very active, kazi za mikono, kazi za kushona mat, hata kushona ninizi za mikono anajua, kusoma tu bado.
Jennifer Wanja also speaks of her daughter's transformation in the special school.
Sahi anajua basic, kuandika jina yake 1 to 10, yani ame improve kabisa. Amejua mambo ya kushona, anashona mats, anashona beads, anafanya maki holders, necklaces.
She has taken part in sensitizing parents on the need to give the intellectually challenged children such opportunity.
Wengi sana napatananga nao kwa street, naona anamuuliza mzazi, mtoto mbona hako shule? At least najaribu kumencourage, wewe mpeleke shule atakuwa, na nimeona wengine, direct wawili na nafurahia ya kuwa hivyo. Na atajisaidia, si lazima ati kila saa uwe ni wewe utakuwa anarinon kwako kila saa.
However, the administration says running the school is not a walk in the park due to financial challenges.
And even if a parent comes with nothing, you can't tell that parent go back and come with money. It's no.
But they are doing all they can to manage the challenge, including doing farming.
These are among the food crops grown in these gardens, all organically to cater for food and supplement the school finances.
This has as well suited the competency-based curriculum.
For self-reliance, it means they have to learn some skills. One among the skills is farm care or farming, whereby we are instilling skills like responsibility as they take care of the crops. We instill skills like respect.
Also, collaborating with a young entrepreneur and food security advocate, Masi Monene, the school has been able to grow organic vegetables which have boosted the health of the learners, as most of them have sensitive body systems.
They need a healthy diet to be able to function very well. So having food that is grown organically makes it very good for them nutritionally, but also it sustains the organization, the school. So they use less money for food, and sometimes they're actually able to sell this food.
A foundation for life after school is also guaranteed, as organizations like the National Fund for the Disabled offers 3-side special school tools of trade in respect to their skills.
You are given a salon kit, you are given a baba materials, you are given farming tools, and then you go back to the community.
These portray great support for the intellectually challenged children.
Raising a child with special needs can be challenging, but keeping them at home denies them a chance to learn and grow. So, embrace their uniqueness and let them experience the world. Remember, every child is a star, deserving love and education to shine their brightest. Anne Mwendoa reporting for KBC Channel 1 in Kasarani, Nairobi County.
On to your favorite weekly segment, the cabinet. Nashon Kanyi Waithaka rose to national political prominence, riding on the downfall of powerful Nyeri politician and cabinet minister Waruru Kanja. The reintroduction of multi-party politics would later see his own downfall when the Mwai Kibaki Democratic Party wave swept right across all politicians perceived to be pro-President Daniel Arap Moi. Tonight, on the cabinet, we bring you the rise and fall story of former councillor and Nyeri Mayor Nahashon Kanyi Waithaka.
Nahashon Kanyi Waithaka was an influential figure, especially in the 1970s and early 1980s, when he was mayor in his hometown of Nyeri, the administrative headquarters of Central Province. Born in 1936 in Tetu, Nyeru district, Nahashon Kanyi trained as a primary school teacher and taught at Kaigonde Primary School in Tetu. He rose to become the headmaster before resigning to join the Kenya prisons as a correction officer in 1978. After a short while, he resigned from the Kenya prison citing frustrations from senior officers and founded his own trading company in Nyeri, which mainly dealt in farm inputs and animal feeds. Nahashon Kanyi joined civic politics in 1974 and was elected to represent Mount Kenya ward in the Municipal Council of Nyeri, eventually winning the mayoral seat. In 1981, he vied but lost in a Nyeri constituency by-election occasioned by the imprisonment of MP Waruru Kanje, who was also Minister for Constitutional Affairs. In 1988, President Mboya picked Nahashon Kanyi to contest the newly created Tetu constituency seat, carved out of the larger Nyeri alongside Nyeri Town and Kieni during the boundaries review exercise. In 1990, Nahashon Kanyi was appointed the Minister of State in charge of internal security, but the following year he was transferred to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. When former Vice President Mwai Kibaki resigned and founded the Democratic Party of Kenya, DP, the political landscape in the entire country, including Nyeri, changed. At the same time, the ethnic clashes in Rift Valley preceding 1992 elections affected Nahashon Kanyi's popularity at home, as he was at the helm of the Ministry of Internal Security. The clashes mainly affected the Kikuyu community, which blamed Kanyi for not protecting them against the onslaught. His friends and supporters deserted him and boycotted his campaign meetings, eventually shunning him and fellow pro-Moi contestants in the 1992 polls. In 1994, Nahashon Kanyi relocated to the U.S. with his wife. He died in July 2017.
Bonanza iko kwa star 570 hash pekee na ni option 4. Inamaanisha mwezi mzima wa August ni tushinde. Dial star 570 hash, chagua option number 4 na ujipatie ushindi wako wa bidhaa au chapa, kwa sababu tumejaza. Kila wiki tunatangaza mshindi wa 250,000 Kenyan shillings na zaidi na zawadi chungu mzima. Alafu guess what? Tumerudisha Probox ndani, na isitoshe Mazda Flare pia iko ndani. Ni star 570 hash pekee, option ni 4. Holiday Bonanza, tushinde!
Ever crazy. Undoubtedly entertaining and mind-boggling. The savage netizens capturing that unique moment.
A very good evening to you. Thank you for keeping it Prime Edition. My name is Betty Kiptum. Time to get the latest in the world of business. Now, the process of relocating landowners displaced by construction of the Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone in Mombasa and Kwale counties will begin this week. Investments Cabinet Secretary Salim Vuria says the government, through the Kenya Ports Authority, has allocated 1.4 billion shillings for compensating 1,648 landowners to restart their lives on their new 400-acre of land.
Construction of the Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone is set to transform Mombasa County into a regional logistics hub. The 50 billion shillings project Strategically located in the proximity of the port of Mombasa, the standard gauge railway and the Mboya International Airport is expected to be completed by 2026. This week, the government commenced compensation for those affected by the project in Mombasa and Kwale counties. The process will see 1,648 people relocated and offered cash to enable them restart their lives.
That compensation for Dongo Kundu, 1,648 project-affected persons will begin this week. Of course, it will run for a few more days. And this is a project which is very special for the development of our country.
Mvruya says 97 investors have expressed interest in the 3,000 acres Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone, with 60% being local investors and 40% foreign.
Applications, 97 applications for several investors, which have a value of slightly above 500 billion, and most of them are being screened now.
Mvruya says the list of investors in special economic zones would be reviewed by cancelling licenses for those who do not invest within 6 months.
We don't want people to, hoard and begin to form cartels, around special economic zone.
Plans are also underway to gazette the Lapset Special Economic Zone. Wairi Mujenga for Prime Edition.
And unscrupulous business people could be fueling the high food prices in sub-Saharan Africa by engaging in price gouging. This is according to the COMESA Competition Commission that is engaging policymakers to address the issue. Rising food prices are a key driver of inflation in sub-Saharan Africa, which has a disproportionate impact on poorer households. Climate change has led to food scarcity, and COMESA is alarmed that traders are practicing price gouging that is pushing food prices up.
Agri markets are simply not working well. We have traders who are benefiting from this situation, who are suppressing farmer prices so that they buy at a low price. And then price gouge and sell at a very high price to consumers. And that exacerbates poverty in that the farmer gets a lower price, he has no incentive to produce next year.
The COMESA Competition Commission met diplomats in Zambia representing COMESA member states to push for policy changes in the region to deter restrictive practices.
They're talking about inflation. They say average inflation in the COMESA region is about 24.2%. The bigger part of that average is on food and non-alcoholic beverages, 23.3%. The rest fall below that. So food has become a problem everywhere. And competition policy and law, as we have assembled here today, should play a part in ensuring that we address this rise in food inflation.
COMESA Secretary General Chileshe Mpundu Kapwepwe said that with over 80% of Africa's population depending on agriculture, concerted effort is required to ensure enforcement of competition law to address food inflation, food security, and eradicate poverty.
Competition policy and law plays a complementary role to the efforts of COMESA Secretariat in addressing market imperfections in our market, including agriculture sector, which may not be adequately addressed through other policy interventions and thereby contribute to the regional integration agenda. COMESA is alive to the fact that an efficient and integrated common market cannot thrive in an environment of restrictive, unequal, and discriminatory business practices.
So the rise in food inflation that we are seeing not just in COMESA region, not just in Africa, but the world over, should be tackled with concerted efforts.
Now, the Africa Cybersecurity and AI Foundation has rolled out a hands-on training on emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence targeting small and medium-sized enterprises to empower them to tap online opportunities. The foundation CEO, Evelyn Olo, says the training mainly targets to help SMEs keep up with the rapidly evolving market.
Small and medium-sized enterprises face a number of challenges, among them slow adoption to technology, which costs them opportunities. In order to address these, Africa Cybersecurity and AI Foundation has rolled out a capacity-building initiative tailored for small and medium-sized enterprises in Kenya to equip them with skills in, among others, human resource, marketing, and finance.
Our cyber school specifically, we have tools for SMEs to do audit, to see if they're AI ready, and if they're ready, we have a whole array of products that they could leverage on to increase sales in terms of sales and marketing, to streamline their HR, cut costs of recruitment, to support in research and development.
The training will also focus on equipping them with cybersecurity skills.
Actually launched a free toolkit that SMEs do not pay for, and the uptake for that has been actually really good. If you visit our website, you will see that the downloads of the toolkits are in the upwards of 100 every day.
The 3 modules in the training program will empower the small businesses to adapt with both local and international market demands, most of which are tech-based. Frederick Muki for Prime Edition.
The Insurance Regulatory Authority has warned of heavy consequences to advocates who engage in unethical practices. In partnership with the Advocates Complaints Commission, IRA Chief Executive Officer Godfrey Kiptum says the collaboration will facilitate investigation and prosecution of complaints against advocates relating to insurance claims.
Hundreds of insurance clients in Kenya have faced harrowing experiences as unscrupulous advocates exploit their vulnerability during the claims processing whenever their claims fall due.
Failure to inform clients. That for us may not be something that can be quantified in terms of money, but it is a very serious complaint, because we expect that advocates who are acting for particular clients should be able to inform their own clients and make sure that they know how far they are progressing with their matters.
It's not a walk in the park, because once you have not been paid and you have gone to complain to them, it takes a while before you even know where to go and complain.
In response, the Insurance Regulatory Authority has sealed a partnership with the Advocates Complaints Commission, hoping to expedite effective handling of such complaints and help reduce insurance fraud and other malpractices within the industry.
Occasionally and many times, we invoke an ADR process, our in-house dispute resolution mechanism, which allows the advocates and their clients to see if they can be able to make it up to each other and progress with their relationship. So we have that one, and it's also a big division in our commission. But the one which brings us to collaboration with IRA is when we are now prosecuting, because at that point we require hard evidence as we prosecute at the disciplinary tribunal.
With this effort and collaboration, we'll be able to sensitize also members of the public, policyholders and beneficiaries that if they think the advocate is not handling them well, then they have a recourse to complain to the Advocates Complaint Commission and their disciplinary tribunal, which will then handle those matters and dispose it appropriately.
The partnership will also involve sharing resources and expertise between the two bodies, ensuring that complaints are handled by those with the necessary knowledge and experience. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
And that is all the business news we had for you this evening. Sports news is coming up with Karen Kibet, who is standing by. My name is Betty Kiptum. Good night.
Siamini. Amini usiamini, Holiday Bonanza ni ya kila mtu na zawadi zitakufikia mahali popote. Dial *570#, chagua option 4 na zawadi kibao zina kungoja. Ikiwa kila wiki kuna 250,000 Kenyan shillings za kushindaniwa. Ni *570# pekee, option 4, tushinde.
A very good evening to you. Welcome back to KBC Prime Edition. My name is Karen Kibet. Let's now take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. Kenya Police Bullets are a win away from securing a place in the 4th edition of the CAF Women's Champions League after beating Tanzania's Simba Queens 3-2 to book a place in the final of the CECAFA Women's Champions League qualifiers. The CAF Women's Champions League will be played in November this year.
Kenya Police Bullets had to come from behind in the second half to beat Simba Queens 3-2 and secure their place in the final of the CECAFA Women's Champions League qualifiers. The Kenyan ladies struck first in the 29th minute through Lucy Kwekwe, but the Queens from Tanzania leveled the score through Corazon Aquino just 6 minutes to the break. Simba Queens looked destined for the final when Corazon Aquino netted her second goal in the 56th minute, but Police Bullets were not shaken and leveled 5 minutes later courtesy of Diana Wasera. And it would be the Bullets who would have the last laugh thanks to Rebecca Okwaro, who rounded off goalkeeper Rufa to seal the much-deserved victory and a place in the final.
Team Kenya Masters Athletics team jets back home tomorrow night following their sterling performance at the just concluded 25th edition of the World Masters Athletics Championships in Sweden. Kenya finished 21st on the medal table with a total of 26 medals and second in Africa behind South Africa, who had 23 medals but bettered Kenya's gold medal tally. Nigeria was third on the continent with only 1 gold medal, while Egypt ranked fourth with 1 bronze. United States, who had registered 600 athletes for the competition, emerged overall winners with 224 medals. It was the 4th time Kenya was taking part in the World Masters, having competed in Perth, Australia in 2016, Malaga, Spain in 2019, and Poland last year. Kenya had a team of 26 athletes. Cyclist Benson Mwaniki has been ruled out of the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games 2 days before the opening ceremony after suffering a fractured shoulder and spine following a freak accident last week. Mwaniki, who was the pilot of paracyclist Kennedy Ogada, requires a minimum of 6 weeks to recover from the injuries suffered when they were knocked down by a car on their way to training in France. However, Ogada, who was not injured, remains hopeful of a podium finish if he gets another pilot in good time. The Kenya National Paralympics Committee has initiated a process to get Mwaniki's replacement to pilot Ogada at the games that officially began on Wednesday. And finally, Jordan once again dominated and won the 4th and final leg of the Cycling 2024 Loop Safari Gravel Series held in Vipingo Ridge in Kilifi County. It was the 2nd win for Jordan, who also won the 1st leg of the series held in Tatu City.
Jordan Schleck needed 4 hours, 40 minutes and 50 seconds to win the 120-kilometer Loop Men's Elite category during the Safari Gravel Series in Vipingo. Joel Kiaviro and Stanley Ngugi claimed 2nd and 3rd positions in 4 hours, 57 minutes and 37 seconds and 5 hours and 55 seconds respectively. In the women's category, Alepa Mary, who emerged 3rd in the Hell's Gate edition, made an incredible comeback with a victorious time of 6 hours, 26 minutes and 16 seconds, beating Kendra Masige and Monica Jelimo, who were 2nd and 3rd respectively. The final leg also saw the overall series team winners awarded a grand prize of 250,000 shillings. Kenyan riders were 2nd and took home 200,000 shillings, while Aria's Solar Vortex were 3rd and pocketed 150,000 shillings. The 60-kilometer loop was won by Rosemary Wairimu and Nicholas Baraza, while the 20-kilometer loop was won by Kevin Kazungu and Kate Crowley. Meanwhile, in a groundbreaking initiative to combat crime and social defiance in Kawangware, Rocky Africa Foundation partnered with Crossover Basketball Ambassadors, a Kenyan non-profit Christian ministry, to support local basketball at Gatina Primary Grounds. 120 children and youth as low as 11 years old took part in the tournament. The event was part of a broader mission to create positive change in the community through sports and mentorship. The tournament showcased intense competition across 4 categories: the under-11, under-13, under-15 and seniors. The event not only showcased the athletics talent of the youth but also emphasized the role of sports in steering young people away from crime. Since its inception, Crossover Basketball Ambassadors has seen 185 children currently enrolled in its basketball facility in Kawangware. And top candidates vying for the FKF top seat are continuing with their grassroots campaign, with Hussein Mohamed calling for free and fair FKF general elections.
Sasa tunataka kila mtu aweke bidii tupate uchaguzi wa haki, uchaguzi ambao ni free, fair, transparent, all inclusive, ambayo itakuwa kitu Wakenya wote watafurahia. So hiyo ni jambo la muhimu zaidi, na sheria ya Kenya lazima ifuatwe. Lazima tufuate sheria, lazima tutii sheria, lazima ule yoyote anayetaka kusimama kiti aruhusiwe, na ule hawezi kusimama pia asisimame. Tufuate Sports Act yetu ya 2013, tufuate sheria zetu, na tuweze kupata viongozi ambao wataendeleza mpira wetu mbele.
Finally, Marion Kibor and Amos Kiplagat are among athletes who were finally rewarded after competing and winning the Kapsabet half marathon held in March this year.
Thank you, Barkley, for that detailed report. That report brings us to the end of the sports news tonight. My name is Karen Kibet. I'll see you tomorrow with more sports news, same time, same place. My colleague Tom Mboya will be back with more. Good night.
Many thanks indeed, Karen Kibet. Of course, I want to thank Betty Kiptum for handling the business segment, and Anne Wangeshi for doing a good job on the sign language docket. The team in the back end, thank you very much for putting this bulletin together. Remember, tomorrow, President William Ruto is set to launch Raila Odinga's chairmanship bid for the African Union. President Ruto, of course, has invited East African community heads of state to grace Raila's grand unveiling. Well, I want to thank you so much for watching. My name is Tom Mboya. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya. I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Kenya is stepping into a bright new future where every citizen's retirement is not just secure, but golden. The Retirement Benefits Authority, RBA, in conjunction with the National Treasury, shall be unveiling RBA's 6th strategic plan and the National Retirement Benefits Policy on Thursday, August 29, 2024 at the Kenyatta International Conference Center between 9 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Imagine a future where your golden years are truly golden, marked by dignity, financial security, and peace of mind. We are simplifying the rules, extending our reach, and embracing innovation to craft a retirement system that's as resilient as it is inclusive. This is a promise that no one will be left behind, and that the future is brighter when we build it together. Let's make your future not just secure, but extraordinary. The launch, which will coincide with a 2-day pension sector convention, shall be live on KBC TV and shall be streamed live on RBA's social media channels. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture,
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.